borrow your SAS ID to log into the BIU, codes. I'm very, very happy to have him here. Um, Now I'll just take you through the projects very briefly. We have, as I was mentioning to you, data science enthusiasts, people who've done their data science courses, who believe in data science, and they have collaborated with me in a mentorship relationship in the last 3 months. Today we have Raghuveer, who's got 15 years of experience in recruitment. He has worked at Kinara Capital, where he was heading their recruitment, Bank of America, Capgemini, and he's an HR analytics student from Jigsaw Academy. Now he has actually worked on scraping Naukri data from the web, with trying to bring to us both sides of the coin, that what are the salaries looking at from the job posting point of view, what are the salaries looking like in data science roles in India from the talent point of view. The amazing part about data science has been that HBR had taken out an article, if you might remember, saying that in data science roles are the only ones which have been pretty much immune to the COVID downturn. So we wanted to explore and understand how it has been for India. And everyone, I would request you, do stay involved in these presentations, and if you like them, do endorse the work that each of the interns have done on LinkedIn. Your support means a lot for all of us. Um, the second project that's being showcased are done by two bright bulbs, Amol and Anushka. They are business analytics students from Sri Balaji University. Both are engineers, proficient in multiple softwares, and their desire was to understand that, which were the socio-economic conditions which were related to COVID death rate. So the discussion started like this. There was just so much news saying that comorbidity causes death, XYZ causes death, COVID is like this, COVID is like that. The point is, how does a government ensure that if you face such a challenge in the future, you can better preserve your people, that your mortality rates could be lower. Of course, that is one. The second becomes that how do businesses decide which countries they wish to keep their operations in. Till now, biological warfare wasn't one of the biggest things, but if this is becoming a reality, how is it going to work? So these were the thoughts which prompted us for this project. The last project you will find is going to be done by Karandeep primarily. He was aided by Freenan, who has now been absorbed by Ernst and Young. Both of these are business analytics students from Manipal University. Both are engineers, and they have worked to establish that what were the drivers of the BSE Sensex. How did the Corona news affect BSE Sensex during this time, and what is the future that we can see for the stock markets? Very, very pertinent to, I'm sure, like one of the things which I was wondering is that, have we really lost liquidity? Like when we say that GDP has gone down, does that mean that Corona has left India poorer? So it is very interesting how they've gone about this project. With this, I am handing over the screen to Raghuveer. Raghuveer, I will request you to start with your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, and good morning to all. We'll talk about, I'll just share my screen. Yeah, so hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, so the problem statement, in finding out the salaries of the data science people, either they're, these people are, these people's main roles, either they could be, these people could be in analytics, data science, mining, and the machine learning part as well. But the main thing we are trying to find out, is there any bias between the jobs posted by the employers and or the same thing is with the prospects or not. I mean, is there any bias between the salaries which the employers are willing to offer and the talent pool, which the salaries, how the salaries are the distributed between the prospect. That is whole the problem statement here. And we have studied about the collection of data has been done from Naukri. I did web scraping through one of the Chrome extensions to get the data for some of the jobs posted in Naukri. And of course, I have tried taking out some data from the Naukri job board as well, because I do have, since I've been a recruiter for some time. So I've gotten about some 1500 data which I've called out from the Naukri as well. So that is how it is. And then yeah, so definitely, the cleaning and organizing took a lot of time for me. 50 to 60% of my efforts have been to call out, to clean the data and organize in a way that it has to be it has to be for it has to be ready for the data analytics. So we have done a lot of work in that. We have imputed missing values. We have certain outliers also have been removed, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so some of the the job postings, how we have arrived at the data. So around how many columns of data we have right now, and so on and so forth. And the location has been segmented to four parts, because we do have locations across India. The cities like Jaipur, Chandigarh, and so on, and Trivandrum, and so on and so forth. So we just thought to to collate to certain extent, to which is ready for the analysis part. Even the same for the common the skills as well. So that is how it is. And yeah, so this is the again the talent pool data. I think the same way also I've done. That is how it is. And the visualization part, I will probably just take you to the visualization part.
Yes, I think that will be nice, Raghuveer.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, this is again on the how the data has, how we have extracted the data, and how we have arrived at the data, and so on and so forth. And these are some of the job postings across locations. And definitely, the Bangalore seems to be the highest when it comes to the jobs posting. At the same time, the talent availability as well. So, and these are some of the we tried mapping the same across India. And these are some of the locations in metros and the tier 2 cities as well across India. And yeah, definitely Bangalore has been the highest talent pool relative to the any other city. We have seen 27% of the data, 27% of the jobs posted across India, and then 37% of the talent pool also available in the same location. And how the industry, different industries have got the jobs and talent. I mean, definitely the IT seems to have the highest jobs, at the same time the talent as well. And the remaining industries follows. Yeah, so some of the number of jobs posted, if I look at it exactly, I mean the specific numbers, then definitely the banking, some of the banking companies like Wells Fargo and Morgan Stanley seems to be posted most number of jobs across locations. And then IT giants like Accenture and IBM as well. And the same, the talent is also available in the big four consulting companies. At the same time, the biggest IT consulting companies as well. when you look at the talent pool. And some of the top skills which are available, which are in demand actually. So the data analytics seems to be the highest demand when you compare with any other skills. When I say data analytics, the somebody who has got the basic statistical, somebody who can use the basic statistical techniques, and somebody who can use the Excel data and so on and so forth, seems to be the highest in demand. At the same time, most of the people also has got the data analytics, and we have tried putting across the different skills also, both we have divided both technical and functional skills. That is how it is. And then data analytics is one of the most available skill, and that is also most of the companies are looking for, and which is in demand right now. And some of this is
I'd like
the
to butt in here. There's
yeah.
this means that if you're putting out a ad for a data science role, then
Mhm.
these are the key words that we are finding in those inserts in
True, true,
Naukri,
true.
right, Raghuveer?
Yes, yes, madam, exactly.
Okay.
So these are some of the average compensation across experience levels and the industry as well. So again, somebody with 16 to 20 years of experience are making, I mean, as the experience is growing, definitely the salaries are also growing in the same way. But we have seen a lot of difference into, when it comes to 16 to 20 years of experience, where, as you can see, the jobs are, the employers are willing to offer a lot of, the salaries offering is more, wherein it's not the same with the talent in the market. So we have seen a lot of misalignment between the data when it comes to the average salaries. So so definitely 2 to 5 to 6 to 10 years of people are more in the market. I mean, more in the talent pool. So these are the people also, where the jobs also are the more for these for the 2 to 5 years and 6 to 10 years of experienced people in the market. And we have also seen a lot of gap between the 25 to, there is a 30% of gap between the jobs posted and the talent pool as well in this segment basically. And we have done some compensation comparison also between the experience levels of certain all the segments of experience levels. And we have seen a linear growth across the jobs posted, but it is not the same in terms of the talent, because there is a linear growth in terms of jobs, but it is not the same in the talent pool. So this is yeah so there is a 30% difference between the employer's expectations, and that is what we have already done. And the same, and 11 to 15 years and 16 to 20 years of experience for people, they do have almost the balanced kind of salaries between the jobs posted and the talent pool as well. So we did not see much difference between these segments basically. And definitely the Bangalore is the highest talent available. At the same time, the most number of jobs posted also. And next to that, we have metro cities like Mumbai, Chennai, and then other cities like Hyderabad and Pune, Kolkata has got more number of jobs. At the same time, the talent also available. So yeah, so I think it is the same of same whatever I have iterated previously. And yeah, definitely. So the realignment has to happen when it comes to 2 to 5 years and 6 to 10 years of people. Is that is what we have seen. There is a a big gap in terms of what the employers are willing to pay. At the same time, the talent also. So there is a misalignment between the salaries is what we have seen. So I'll just take you back to my the presentation. I mean the analysis part. So that is how on the visualization part.
Would any of you want to ask some questions, Abhishek, Dr. Ramesh, and Ashwini?
Yeah, Subhashini, hi, this is Ramesh Babu. Yeah, thank you, Raghuveer. Thanks for walking us through one of the very interesting problem statements that you have picked up, and being in this industry that you are, and you looked at the this recruitment challenge is always a paradox. There is enough supply and there is enough demand, but both don't seem to uh, get bridged for whatever reasons. Having said that, so the hypothesis that you started with saying that, higher the experience, higher the salary, uh, is the hypothesis that you worked on it. So my question is, on this hypothesis, uh, did you find something which helps you to understand what are these characterizations, or let's say features of this experience, which really helps in higher salary? For example, uh, and I'm using some, undefined terms. So there is a experienced candidate from a tier one and same experience candidate from a tier two, does tier two institution, and similarly from a tier one IT industry and tier two IT industry. So for the current question, you don't have to worry the definition of tier one and tier two, other than that the tier is a mid-range industry, let's say, for the sake of it. And a tier two institution is below the tier one institution. Are there some features that were very, very clear that helps you identify higher the experience, higher the salary, and especially the 16 to 20 years bracket that?
Yeah, so we did not do the analysis from the tier one to tier two institutes, but the one thing I have found is that most of the IITs are hiring, if you look at the education sector is one of the most paid among some of the sectors in, when you look at the industry wise.
Yeah,
So,
Raghuveer, go to your correlation slide, I think.
yeah, sure, madam. Yeah, so this is the one, if you look at it, so the higher paying industries absorb experienced talent at higher cost. So definitely it is there. And if you look at the some of the industries like banking, health, pharma, and at the same time some of the even the education sector, when you talk about IITs also have posted, where they are willing to pay more number of more salaries when you compare with any other industry. So that is what we have seen, but we did not divide it between tier one and tier two as such.
Sure. Okay. Just thought to hear you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Raghuveer, I had a question on the data.
Okay.
So you have taken 1,500 candidates and 1,500, and how many job postings? 1,500 job postings, right?
Yes, approximately.
Okay,
yes. Yeah.
approximately. So how old were these job postings? Which period have you considered?
Okay.
And the candidates that you are considering, are all of them looking for a job actively, or they just profiles are there and they might not be looking for jobs currently?
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, definitely we have taken all the active people who are looking out, and these are the people who has posted who has been active for the past 3 months, and the data has been taken out for the period of October. This is for the month
Okay.
of October we have taken. Yeah, these
So
are
all
all
the job postings that were live in October.
exactly. And the same way, the candidates are also looking out. I mean, because we have taken who has been active in Naukri for the past 3 months.
Okay. So one question on the location.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting that, Bangalore came on top, which what anybody would expect. The question is that do we know whether people are open to moving out? For example, when you say that, Bangalore has the most number of talent and most number of job opportunity available, that is true. But, suppose I'm currently in Bangalore, but I'm open to move to Bombay as well, right? For example. So do we have that kind of information that where people are willing to move if the jobs are available?
Yeah, definitely we did not look at that point. So but definitely I think the we do have enough data to project that as well. So probably definitely we'll try to do that, but we did not do it. Within our within the purview of it, we did not do it.
Because it will be interesting to look at that, maybe there are jobs being created in cities where people might like to move, right? I mean, because, when you go to Naukri, you can give the choice of locations where I'm willing to move, right? 3 or 4
True.
choices I can give, right?
True.
So maybe there are locations where jobs are created and people are willing to move. Maybe there are also cities where jobs are getting created, but people are not willing to move there currently, right? So maybe
Exactly.
that will be something interesting to look at.
True, true.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank
Abhishek,
you,
I'd
Akshay.
like to answer that. Actually, there's nearly a 10% more ratio of talent pool in Bangalore as compared to the ratio of jobs. And because Bangalore seems to be higher paying, I think the salary doesn't seem to be good enough for most people to move out of Bangalore, as far as I could make out looking at both sides of the coin.
But that is not true for banking. Like in definitely in Bombay, if you join the banks, like in the core teams, right?
Yes,
For example, if you join an Indian bank,
yes,
the salaries are comparable or sometimes even higher than what is being offered in Bangalore. But I don't know
absolutely.
about other industries. It could be true, very well true for other industries. But
Yes.
at least for banking, uh, it's not true at all levels. For example, I think definitely for 15 plus year level,
Hmm.
Bombay would be paying little more just because of the cost of living in the city and
Living
all
in
that.
Yeah,
Bombay.
definitely. I
Yes.
agree with that. And most of the AMCs are also based out of Mumbai. And most of the financial institutions are also based out of Mumbai. So that might be the reason, Abhishek. Yeah, I completely agree with you on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
With this, Ashwini, anything you may want to ask, or should we start with the
Yes,
next?
yes. I have one question. Raghuveer, I think you have taken a good project at the right time,
Thank you.
and we have seen good insights what you have drawn out of this. And what I understand, it will give a good kind of a decision-making ability also for the people who are in data science for their career movement, whether in terms of industry or in terms of the location. One thing I thought to just check with you and understand. Let's see, today, whether it is a financial industry or NBFC or insurance or IT, there are different competencies they require in data science. Say, for example, many companies, they just want kind of a visualization of like Tableau or Power BI usage. Few companies, they say, I want some kind of descriptive analysis and insights. Few companies says that no, I want predictive models. And few company in financial industry they say that I want prescriptive model for portfolio design or product management or something. So various competencies are required. I mean the segments are there, and when they post a job, they also mention that what kind of data science people they want
True,
and
true.
with what competency. So have you thought of doing a competency wise segmentation so that people who are choosing their career and also they want to elevate in their competency skills, so they can think of that if I have 6 years experience or 10 years experience but only I'm looking into descriptive and visualization, that will not help me with a fast career growth. So segmentation of the competencies, uh, have you looked into or have you thought of, or is it can it be doable in your next project?
Yeah. So segmentation of skills or competencies is what you're talking about. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the segmentation has been done, but unfortunately, we are not able to find the data in the talent that we are, that we have culled out. So that is the main reason that we are not able to match it with the jobs data with the talent pool data. So that is the one, that's why we are not able to match it. So that is the one thing. And
Mhm.
talking about the specific data you have spoken about, definitely data analytics is the most looked out, because when I say data analytics, people who are who has got the basic understanding of statistics and the visualization part and little bit of Excel is the most most demanded skill, is what we have felt out among the all the skills, whatever we have come across. But definitely the AI and ML and deep learning, and these are the skills which are being paid mostly, I mean, which are being paid more when you compare with any other skill in the industry. So these are some of the insights we have picked it up. But definitely competency segment we have not done it, so definitely it's a good idea to do that as well. So definitely I would like to extend it further, so definitely it will give us a better insights, I feel. Yeah, thank you.
Fine. Thank you, Raghuveer.
Thank you.
Okay, with this, I will just pass on the baton to the next team, which is Anushka and Amol. So, Anushka, you may please take it from here.
So I'll stop sharing my screen, madam.
Yes.
Yes. Just let me know when you see my screen.
Yeah, Anushka.
Please go ahead.
Can you hear me properly?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can see you. Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Good
You
morning,
can
ma'am.
turn on your cameras.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
One
Hello.
second. Ma'am. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Anushka, everything is fine.
Yeah.
You can put
Okay.
on your video also. Start off now.
Yes, ma'am. One second. Ma'am. Can you make my screen visible? Sorry, my camera. I'm not having the option.
Okay.
Should I?
Go on.
Okay.
Go on,
Okay.
Anushka.
Good morning,
ma'am.
everyone.
Good morning,
My
sir.
name is Anushka Lakde. I will be presenting topic. We will be presenting topic on COVID-19 data analysis, impact of socio-economic factors on the COVID death rate. So, over to you, Amol.
Coming to the problem statement, we all know that the COVID cases are increasing rapidly day by day. So, the whole world is in disaster situation. So, our research is about the death rate and the socio-economic indicators which are impacting on the death rate. Uh, so, in this, we will find whether the WHO has registered the consistent data from March 2020 to April 2020 or not. Over coming to the data sources, we have collected COVID data from authentic sites like World Health Organization, Indian government sites, and World in Data. So we have collected the socioeconomic data from World Bank. In this, we have selected the 30 countries which are top in either GDP, top in population, or in both. Next, over to you, Anushka.
Thank you, Amol. Coming to the data analysis part, as Amol said that we have collected data from WHO World in Data site for socio-economic factor. We have gone to the World Bank site, which was also authenticated. So data collection was done. We have organized the data in a specific manner. You can see my data. So here. You can see that COVID-19 data was collected from various sites, WHO data, GitHub data, World in Data, ECDC websites. So, and socioeconomic factors like population living in slum, population growth, median age, unemployment age. So, collecting these data, it was done according to country. So we were reporting a primary key as a country and according to the dates which we are finding here. Population living in slum, here country-wise data and yearly data we have got from the World Bank site. Population living in slums 2019, population growth annually for 2019, median age, unemployment rate, literacy rate according to the 2015, 16, 17, 18 and 19, 20. GDP per capita growth rate. So this was the data collection we have done for the analysis. So, and we have used a DECOA method for the analysis process, like defining the problem, collecting the data for that project, organizing data, like correcting the missing values, averaging it out, and after that analysis. So for analysis, we have designed 3 hypotheses in this. First hypothesis was WHO was reporting coronavirus data consistently or not. Second hypothesis was World Health Organization was reporting data related death consistently with India or not. So like we have checked the data for India also. And
just 1 minute, Anushka. I think when we're saying consistently, we're talking about consistency between different sources. not
Yes.
within the same data is reported, say sequentially, but
Yes.
WHO versus the other sources.
Yes, yes. WHO for first hypothesis, we have collected data from WHO side and World in data side, and we have compared those data, compared for the to check that whether WHO is also authenticator side and World in data is also authenticator side. So we have compared their means to find the consistency. So like in the third hypothesis, socioeconomic factors impacted the mortality rate of coronavirus or not. So you can see the analysis link in here. Moving to the first hypothesis, we can see we have derived a ANOVA test to check the means of population. So a null hypothesis was accepted as we saw there is a no significant difference between the new cases found in WHO site and World in data site, new cases found in World in data site. So these two were showing the same mean, and there was no significant difference in data. So we have accepted the null hypothesis that data was consistent. Same as here for we have recorded it for the sample of new deaths from WHO site and new deaths found from World in data site. This was all for the 30 countries we have collected. Moving to the third hypothesis, same as here, death percentage which was recorded by WHO data site, and death percentage was recorded by World in data site. These two samples were taken for the ANOVA testing. So we also got we also found that there is a no significant difference in WHO and World in data site. So null hypothesis was accepted here. Hypothesis testing for second, we have checked it for India, like taking sample of WHO side data and sampling data for India side. So we have derived ANOVA test for that, and it has found that there was no significant difference for both of the cases from the World in data site as well. Moving towards the hypothesis for the socioeconomic, which was the main one. We know that there are we have collected data for many socioeconomic factors, which was included. You can see in the table: population growth, median age, unemployment rate, GDP, which is very important for every country, income data, male female ratio, which according to that country, slums population, and their death percentage recorded by WHO side for those countries. So moving to the correlation model, we know that positive value shows correlation, negative value shows negative correlation, and zeros does not show any relation. So in this table, we can see socioeconomic factors have impacted the percentage of death for WHO. In this table, you can see the absolute values and top 7 drivers, which are showing more than 0.2% correlation coefficient. So, it was impacting negatively for the population living in slum 2019. It was impacting negatively for also population growth in 2019, percentage of male, and GDP per capita growth. So population as the population living in slums, we can see they are having a higher COVID death rate, actually having less death rate than rich countries. So we can say that country which have high male population is the COVID-19 death rate has become less in those countries as well from this table. So regression, coming to the regression analysis, we have found that the GDP and financial indicators which drive our education and gender ratios. So population percentage in the slums, sorry, so is a good way to understand the poverty. It was like surprising to see that rich countries are having a good medical infrastructure, good medical facilities, everything was provided them easily as compared to the poorer country. But still in this we saw that the countries which are poor are having more are having less death rate, which is like then they are having more immunity towards this virus, and rich countries are having less immunity towards this virus. So this was quite actually surprising for us. This can be led also to younger population which have lower comorbidities and higher immunity. So caused a low level, which is caused also because of lower levels of sanitization and lower of medical interface. So coming to the insights from this project, we can see that
your screen is sharing.
yes.
Yeah, madam. Sorry.
Can you see my screen?
Share again.
Okay. 1 second. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So insights which are gained from this project, that WHO was reporting data consistent with from the March onwards. India also succeeded to maintain the data consistency which we have reported from the data collection. And socioeconomic factors are also impacting in a positive or a negative way. So we have saw that though it is impacting death rates. So this will lead towards the like businessmen or government to decide whether this will cause any natural calamity or any disastrous virus again comes in their country. So they should be prepared according to this, that how to tackle these problems according to this research and all. So coming to final conclusion, Amol, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anushka. Talking about our learnings, as we were learning the subjective knowledge from our MBA course, it was important for us to convert that knowledge into practical. So doing internship in Pexitics was very productive. We have learned so many things during our internship, like data scraping, data mining, data organizing, and which statistical model is used for the analysis, how to visualize the data in Tableau. Also, the biggest challenge we faced during our project is in data cleaning and data organizing. At the end, I would like to thank Subhashini ma'am. So because it was a great experience to get a mentorship from ma'am, as she has over 20 years of experience in analytical background. She used to take our meeting in every week, and used to tell us our mistake and recommendation. This all make all the process smooth and effective. Thank you.
Over to the
And
jury.
if you like
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions, please?
Okay,
Actually, I have a
Ramesh.
question. Oh, sorry, Dr.
Please go
Ramesh, you can go ahead.
Please
Please, you please go ahead. I'll ask my question later.
Yeah, thank you. So Amol and Anushka, yeah, thank you for giving us that kind of a quick top-level view of how the COVID impact factors on death, right?
Yes.
So, when you looked at this is a large-scale problem, and
Yes.
many times to get insights and to create an agenda for an action for policy-level people, one also has to pinpoint a few things. So one thing I wanted to check, if you people had looked at it, is a fairness check. The smaller countries vis-a-vis larger countries, the gender, the male versus the female, any fairness check or the bias checks were done in this to understand this correlation that you talked about, the 7 factors independently, and were there any insights?
Amol, show your visualization, please.
Anushka, share this.
Yes.
Resolution.
Okay.
Gender ratio. Sir, actually, this the gender ratio is calculated as the number of male births to the with respect to number of female births. As we can see that in in countries like Saudi Arabia, India, Nigeria, Pakistan, in this the gender ratio is high. Means the males the male birth is high as compared to the female birth. Anushka, slide.
Okay.
Sir, so we can see that where the gender ratio is more, then and also we have denoted the colors for the in these countries where the gender ratio is low, there is a low death rate, sir. So we can say that for countries where the gender ratio is more, there is a low death rate.
And the higher gender ratio is towards the males, is it?
Yeah, it is percentage of
Yes,
male
sir.
divided by percentage of female in the population, Dr. Ramesh.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
So, guys, I have one basic question. How did you finalize these 7 or 8 variables to check correlation against?
Actually, sir, we have looked very like authentic government sites from various countries and like a World Bank site or WHO site. Sites like this, we are showing very like 30, 40 country-wise socioeconomic factors. So we have to the factors which are common in all of country and which will show us the data from the recent times. So
The reason, okay, I understand. So basically, that is more of a data constraint.
yeah.
But if you ask me, and all the research in COVID-19, it points out to maybe some other variables which are more highly correlated. Like, for example, how many people have comorbidity, right? For example, how many people in the country have, say, diabetes
Okay.
or any sort of heart diseases or high blood pressure,
Yeah.
or things like, how many people are more than 65 years. I know you take an age, but
Okay.
if you take the variable as how many people are more than 65 years old in the country, right? Because
Okay.
you are seeing all the socio economic indicators are negatively correlated. That the reason being that the virus is not attacking areas which are, say, unhygienic, right? Slum areas or things like that, because there people have already built immunity, right? Because this is a little mild virus, the mortality rate is very low.
Yes.
So there are other factors which kind of, it seems to me, could be highly correlated compared to this. And the other problem is here is that this is just correlation. This doesn't mean that this is the cause also, right? So causation is not established. This is just telling me that this is correlated, but whether a gender ratio actually is significant in having COVID or not is something that will require a little more analysis, right? So that's my only view on this.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. We will also look into this also, considering other socioeconomic factors which will be more correlated to this. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I have one question. Amol, Anushka, I think a good attempt you have done to understand the data trends, and you have tried your best to even chart out the insights. See what Mr. Abhishek Taneja also he was trying to understand that after this analysis of huge data set from different 2-3 sources, and after checking the consistency of the data also, uh, you could have visualized in this way also. Say, for example, there is a matrix where one side is a susceptibility, one side is the death, and on the various demographics, population demographics, whether it is a location or gender or maybe comorbidity, all those things on various parameters. If that is visualized specific to India, that one susceptibility and one is the death or infections. So that way it will give a very clear indication and the decision making kind of a easy for the decision making also for the I think government authorities and even the institutions and the companies, that what actionable they can chart out from that particular study. So that is
Yes,
the
sir.
input from my side.
Okay.
But good presentation, good
Thank you,
attempt.
sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hi, Karandeep, will you start your screen share, please?
Yes, ma'am. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Karandeep, you're good to go.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here. So, I'll start with a brief background on myself. I'm a mechanical engineer who's found his, can say, calling or passion towards data science, and have studied under Manipal University in Bangalore, following which during the COVID period, we came upon this interesting topic when it was suggested by Subhashini ma'am under the mentorship program. And I've always been fascinated and have had an interest towards the BSE Sensex and the stock markets. And it's considered one of the primary investment stages, at least in our modern day and age. And coronavirus, when it hit, had a wide impact on everything. So when I was given this topic, I was very interested to know how it was affected and what were all the things involved. And on that note, I would like to start. Yeah. So the problem statement here was studying and understanding the impact that coronavirus itself, along with its news and how it was broadcasted, and considering other multiple factors affected our BSE Sensex. So what are the primary variables that were influencing it, and what kind of outlook we can look for in the future? So for this, we considered a basic time frame starting from 1st January till 15th of September, so that we got some data before actual impact of coronavirus was present, and from the start of the impact, which was started for us from the 1st of March and onwards. So collecting the data. So this was one of the largest phases in my project, finding out what data and what kind of variables to consider. So primarily we have considered the BSE Sensex data for the time frame 1st January till 15th September 2020 and the year 2019. Similarly, to compare with how the market has been doing outside, we have considered one of the primary indexes, that is Dow Jones Index, often considered the equivalent of BSE in the United States of America, for the same periods of 2019 and 2020. Additionally, how has the commodities market been doing as compared to BSE Sensex? To consider that, we have taken one of the popular commodities, gold, for the time frame 2020 and 2019. This considered the financial data. Following that, we got the data for the coronavirus news and its impact. So the coronavirus major data we considered from covidindia.org that collects data from various sources, primary being Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So one of its popular data sets is it takes in the data from the different districts of every state, along with considering all the migrants, the unknown cases which do not fall under any constant purview when compared with WHO, and on a whole India wide, which gives a very accurate representation of the COVID cases on a day-to-day basis. Following that, we considered the news data or how coronavirus news was being seen or broadcasted. So for that, we considered multiple sources, but as we were not able to locate the data on most of the popular ones like Times of India or Hindustan Times or Economic Times for financial background, we came towards Google News and Google Trends, which offers the option of allowing us to set in queries and then get the interest generated and the coverage of the data for those time period in that category. So we consider two primary queries in this case, coronavirus itself and coronavirus deaths. So the main part of my project was researching the different variables and finding out and collecting the data all together. So this was the primary stage towards combining the data. So primarily the BSE Sensex of 2019 was considered my primary base data with its date being the primary unique column. The data from all of the other such as my Dow Jones index, gold commodity, the news related to coronavirus and the coronavirus cases were all combined on the basis of the BSE Sensex, merged together to keep and follow the timeframes of the market. Missing values. So my missing values were present in two primary forms. In the financial datasets, they were present in the cases where the markets were open and closed on different dates as compared to BSE Sensex, which led to primary gaps in a few days. And similarly, it was observed for the gold market with some gaps on certain dates. So these, considering it was a time series problem, were filled in using backward fill on forward fill. Similarly, the other kind of missing data that I found was with respect to the coronavirus. So since coronavirus did not actually start coming into the picture, the first case was recorded on 30th January. And for the month of February, there were very few cases and it really started picking up from March. So prior to that, any of the data was not present and hence it has been given the automatic value of 0. Similarly, for the interest generated earlier, since the existence of coronavirus until it started affecting the world and India in general was not generated. So all of those dates have been considered 0. So the whole data was time separable. And the primary, as I mentioned, was a date in a time series format. The derived variable and target variable that we considered was average OHLC, which is considered one of primary indicators if you want to analyze and look into the stock market on a day-to-day basis. So the market data, my data is generated into two parts, the market data and the coronavirus related data. Under market data, I've got two kinds of separate data. The OHLC charts, which represent BSE Sensex and Dow Jones Index, and the gold commodity data. So my BSE Sensex primarily had date and OHLC that represents open, high, low, and close. Each of them meaning the stock prices at the opening of the market on that particular day, the local high for the day, the local low for the day, and the value at the closing of the market. For Dow Jones Index, similarly, the same was followed along with additional columns that were adjusted close and volume. Since adjusted close and volume did not differentiate for the data, we eliminated adjusted close. So to get one primary measure of the value of the stock, considering these four values, open, high, low, and close, we consider an average. The gold commodity had the data primarily constructed in terms of the type of commodity, what sector segment it falls into, the instrument, traded contact lots, and total value. So our main focus in this data set was the total value represented on a day-to-day basis. COVID-19 and its news data. So as I mentioned, with respect to COVID-19, the main data that we took represented the active, death, and total cases present from the 1st of the 30th of January till 15th of September. And the data was present considering the states and the individual districts for each of these dates. To prevent curse of dimensionality, we did not consider the district-wise data and took out the state-wise cases and a primary India-wise case. The coronavirus news data. So coronavirus news data, as I mentioned, has been taken from Google News using Google Trends. The queries I used was coronavirus and coronavirus deaths, and its values represent the interest present in the sector for a day-to-day base. So for any other understanding, I'm going to just bring up my data charts. So as I mentioned earlier, you can see that these are the six data present, being BSC 2019-2020, Dow Jones 2019-2020, gold, primarily being from COVID-org, the news data, and finally they were merged together into two separate columns.
Karan, we can't see your data.
We can't see your data, Karan. Yeah.
Okay, let me just that. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. So I had three primary sections: the financial, that is BSE 2019-20, Dow Jones, and gold for the respective years, the COVID data, and the news data. All of these three were combined and merged into two separate sets, one containing all of the financial together with the total cases of coronavirus and the query coronavirus altogether. The second considered the death cases of coronavirus and the coronavirus death. So you can see here, this is my primary main data set considering the death. So I've got the dates, the BHE, BSE Sensex columns, following which I've got my Dow Jones, as you can see here, with the open, high, close, volume, and the generated variables. Following which we have our precious gold commodity and its values. And then we have all of our COVID cases. So initially, as you can see, we had 0 cases until it began increasing. And at the end, the last, we have coronavirus query and the interest generated. Similarly, was used for the news main, where the data was replaced instead of death cases to active cases and the query coronavirus deaths. To ensure that the data matched with the total cases, similar checks were placed, not considering the state and distances that would cover up for any missing totals under the number of state cases with the total India cases.
So I think you can go to your findings now, Karan.
Yeah, I'll just switch.
I think
Okay, so coming to my analysis part. So I did a correlation analysis, and the primary correlation or impact you can see was with the Dow Jones index, which followed a very high positive correlation, and the markets seemed to follow each other. The same being represented by their low close and volume. The volume of the market having a negative impact. With the larger the increase in volume under Dow Jones, the opposite effect happening. Similarly, the state-wise coronavirus cases had a apparent positive effect, considering a very comparatively low of zero point 0.3 as an average, while as the coronavirus, the query itself had a negative effect at a 0.64 onto our cases. Considering the deaths, the result was a little different, with again Dow Jones leading with their high open and DJIA. But following that, we had a very high correlation of the COVID death rates considering unknown total, which represents the total along with all of the migrants and such people involved that did not stick to any particular state and were recorded under cases, following which we had Rajasthan, Telangana, and Madhya Pradesh. One thing that we noticed in this case was that while there were differences with respect to state, the differences were not very large. So it was there was not a very high location-based impact onto the BSE Sensex. Following that, we performed a regression analysis considering the death case data set, since that had more impact with respect to the news on our BSE Sensex. So the following models were applied considering linear regression and with normalization present, but that gave us a very high value initially of 1. After normalizing, it was lowered to 0.93 and a low root mean square error. But since we had quite a number of variables in the term of states present, we tried to apply ridge and lasso regression to handle any cases of overfitting and regularization with alpha as 0.01. And finally, in an effort to see if we could get a better model, we applied random forest ensemble method and got the lowest root mean square error and R2, which were the metrics to predict. So the final insights. So the insights that I could make from these were that 1, the Dow Jones Industrial Average has a significant relation and impact on BSE Sensex. The liquidity in the market can still be seen as present because while there was a drop in the BSE Sensex when the initial coronavirus effect took place, the gold was not as affected and later went forward to increase substantially, which will be shown in visualization as attached. Then the coronavirus death case news and its subsequent impact was large, as was expected and the hypothesis proven. Similarly, the death cases itself had a significant impact, and the location had an equivalent impact. That is that the change in the location of the state-wise cases did not have a very huge impact on BSE Sensex.
So, Karandeep, you want to show your visualization or code, or do you want? Are you open to questions now? I think
I'll just show the visualization as the last part, and then we can take in any questions. Okay, so my visualization starts with the first presenting how the BSE Sensex was over the period 2020 and 2019. And as you can see, while it was quite periodic in 2019, in 2020 there was a drop considering when the first initial cases started from the 1st of March, as you can see at 26th to 3rd, and initially the lowest falling where the first lockdown was initiated. Then you can see the BSE Sensex as compared with Dow Jones, which sort of helps us understand the correlation a bit better. As you can see with the graphs, both of them seem to follow a highly similar pattern over the same time period. Following which is our gold commodity index. And when we compare it with BSE Sensex, as you can see, the value itself did not deteriorate heavily until the later stages of coronavirus period from June, where you can see it has taken up a massive rise as compared to any falls that the BSE Sensex suffered. Following the GDP is also mentioned, which was recorded from January 18th and its fall after the COVID period. Then coming to coronavirus, so these were the, as you can see, like the cumulative cases, the active cases, recovery, and deaths have been mentioned along with average daily growth. And as you can see, the growth initially was quite large and frequent, but dropped heavily after the lockdowns were implemented. The case fatalities and recovery rates and the highest states are mentioned. The highest near August being at Punjab and Maharashtra under fatality, and Bihar and Andhra. Then one of our good concerns is the declining average of daily confirmed. So the daily confirmed average cases were rising, but in the 14-day period of September 17 to 30, till the data was considered, it was seen that there was a drop in the peak daily cases, and which sort of suggested that there was a possibility that considering and predicting moving averages, that there would we had already crossed the peak, and as such there would be a slowdown in the increase in daily cases. So the top states are presented along with the average mortality rate in India observed, being at 1.56%. The coronavirus news query can be seen here in the interest generated. So it was non-present, as you can see from November, but increased at the start of January and peaked during the March period, and then subsequently lost traction. Similarly for the coronavirus death topic. So the same correlation is present here, and you can see the difference here. The main graph, which helps us understand, as you can see, the blue line represents the BSE Sensex, and the MOHFW, that is the orange line, is actually the COVID cases as declared by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And you can see while its cumulative cases rises, the interest primarily was between March 1st and May, following which you can see a drop in the market. And as the interest has decreased, the market from that stage has continuously, although slightly periodic, been growing and has not experienced any significant fall since that period. Those were the primary visualizations considered. Thank you. I'll take any questions now.
Yeah, hi, Karandeep. Thank you for putting together an understanding of very disparate set of movers and shakers, I would say, for uh, the kind of index versus interest news versus death news and the commodities. So, in your last part of the presentation, what is the insight between the Sensex and the deaths and the
What can I
deaths
not
part
do?
of the news?
So the last insight that I observed was that they were definitely related. The news and the interest having a negative impact, since the period when there was a larger interest in the news, I think people were a bit more hesitant to consider the market as a stable source of investments, specifically when the lockdown itself was implemented, which led to a large instability and pause in quite a few industries. So at that point, you could see that there was a very significant drop in the BSE Sensex. And as later it could be seen that the interest towards coronavirus was decreased, or which could be considered as the people adapting to the turbulent changes, the market itself started to recover.
Hmm. Okay, and you had to start with two hypotheses. So one was which variables. So is it that one OHLC variable that you are talking about? And the
All
second
the variables
hypothesis
that
was
were
what is the
considered,
outlook?
yeah, the variables which were considered to have a impact were the Dow Jones Index, which has significant impact, the coronavirus death news, which has an impact, and the coronavirus news itself, along with the cases on a daily basis, that is the death cases. And the additional, which I had not initially considered, was the location wise. So the state wise, while there were some changes in how much of an impact they had, the primary impact was similar. So it did not matter what were the number of cases in each state. The impact was India-wide. This thing, there was not much division based on specific locations on
All
the
right,
base.
thank you.
So, Karandeep, this is actually very interesting, right? And it's very close to me because I work in banking, and I also am an investor, right? So this is something that I kind of track on a daily basis. So I had few questions. Let's go to your models, right? So you have built four models.
Yeah.
Let's forget the random forest, difficult to explain.
Yeah.
But for your regression models, uh, I'm assuming OHLC was the most significant variable, right?
Yeah, so my OHLC was the most significant with respect to Dow Jones, and the
Okay.
OHLC of BSE was my target.
Okay. So how much explainability was by OHLC? So if I do a 1 unit change in OHLC, what will be the impact on the dependent variable?
So there was a very high dependency. So any changes would have a direct significant effect.
Hmm. So the reason I'm asking is that actually DJI itself is a Sensex, right?
Yeah.
So basically you are getting a Sensex variable as a independent variable for a Sensex variable which is dependent variable, right?
Yeah, because we wanted to see the comparison, and sometimes what it happens is like if you hear about like things are doing well in certain effects in US market, so it directly affects the changes in the Indian market as well.
Yeah,
A
I
lot.
understand. But the thing is that so Sensex is an aggregate of market sentiment or sort of a replication of market sentiment, right?
Yeah.
If you use US market sentiment to estimate Indian market sentiment, we are not getting any new information. You understand what I'm trying to say? For example, if you had, so you're taken gold and you're taken others, but my sense is that your explainability of DJIA OHLC will be the highest. Maybe 70% of the model will be explained by that one variable, right? Which is itself a, sort of a, it's an indicator of market sentiment in US, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so only thing that I can think of is that, I mean, obviously this is a much broader topic and we can discuss more. but there could be other things like liquidity in the system, right? So for you could have looked at the CRR rate or the SLR rate, which kind of indicates the liquidity in the Indian system. You could have also looked at things like VFX, which tells the volatility, right? So there are a few things that you could have also, which would have given a more precise sense of what is actually driving. The other thing I think, maybe you could have considered was, so you looked at the Google trends for coronavirus and corona deaths. I think the market was more looking towards corona vaccine. So if you look at the Google trends for corona vaccine, because what you'll see is that, as soon as there was some indication that AstraZeneca has been able to get the vaccine with 95% or 90% success rate, the market has started picking up a lot, right? So that's the other thing that, I will say, but pretty good analysis. And obviously, I mean, like any analysis, there could be multiple thoughts on how to do it, but very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You have mentioned some very good variables that I feel could be included to get a better understanding and implementation. Thank you.
Karandeep, I think you have taken a subject which is very complex and very broad. And as Abhishek is also saying that it is his area of interest, and he, as an investor, he keeps looking into the market trends. So, as a retail investor, say for example, if you are a retail investor in the market, and you have seen that various events has happened in the last 6 months. Different events have happened. Pandemic is not only one event, but in that pandemic event, that is a big event. In that, there are small events happen, like total lockdown, full lockdown. Fine. Then there was a unlocking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fine. Then there was a sudden sentiments that hey, there is a total liquidity crisis in the market. Then say for example, the industry, productivity, industrial productivity average is going down, or GDP is going down, inflation is going high, fine, and the RBI regulations. When it came into picture, when government said that we are infusing around 20,000 crores as a subsidy in different sectors and with the different methods. So these were the different events, and these were the different decisions made by the government at different intervals in these last 6-8 months. So how it impacted the market, though we see that there is a pattern, similar pattern in Dow Jones and the BSE Sensex, but still, as a retail investor, I would be more interested in that how these things, small events impacted the market, so that as a retail investor, I can take a call whether to buy or sell or what to do. So if that can come as an insight, maybe in your next projects, so I think it will help. The people and all of us. That is my input.
No, thank you. That's a wonderful idea and impact. And actually, the major challenge that I faced with this project was like finding out which are the variables that I should consider. What are the different factors? The coronavirus and its news itself was a given, but what are the other factors and small events?
Yeah.
So yes, that
was. So I think Ashwini, made a very good point, and I had, this obviously will come with experience, and I don't know whether you invest or not, but once you start following news, there are certain events. For example, BSE Sensex, right? That has 30 stocks, but Reliance has a weightage of around 5.6 to 6%, right? So when the Reliance Industries come up with the results, that is an event in itself.
Yeah.
Right. Similarly, HDFC Bank is another 4.5% of the Sensex, right? And another HDFC itself is another 3%. So like these top 5 or 6 companies represent about 60 to 70% of the Sensex value, right? So that is something also that so the sentiment of the market is also driven by the big results when they come out. So for the future you can also think of it that. And the other thing that Mr. Shuri mentioned, very important, are the government interventions, right? So whether it is asking RBI to increase liquidity, or things like giving the micro loan, supporting the economy with giving loans to MSME, things like that. So you will say that will have an impact on daily basis, right? So any big event, you will see the market changing based on the news and the sentiment, right? So, but that will obviously come with more experience. Karandeep, it's a very good attempt. So thank you for this. And yeah, I mean, pretty interesting to look at.
Thank you. Any further questions?
This has been a really nice discussion, and I think I absolutely appreciate what you're saying, Abhishek. When Reliance Industries started its spree of acquisitions, and they have come up with I mean, now they're invested in nearly more than 150 entities. I think a lot of the buoyancy that we are seeing is the positive influence of the positive news that Reliance Industries is giving to the corporates. Because when you look at the smaller industries, the news isn't so positive. I mean, whatever we can see here. So I think in the context of unpaid internship projects, which we started off, where they were giving a certain amount of time to it as a learning, to be able to like they have, most of them have mentioned to you that it took a lot of time to just understand where to get the data and why you're getting that data. Perhaps it's easier in a very in a framework where it's very clear that for this project these are the data points and so on and so forth. So I really found it interesting to see how these students have tackled the problem and tried to come to terms with their own hypothesis on these problems. Again, I would also this is something which I find very interesting, that most of the people who say they want to learn data science, somewhere like Abhishek, you all have pointed out, Dr. Ramesh has pointed out, Ashwini has pointed out, see, understanding a business problem itself is only when you look at the business so closely. If you're looking at something at a certain distance, you sometimes can't see the nitty gritties. Theoretically it sounds pretty easy that you can do data science, and I think that is what we have tried to do in this program here, which is that we've tried to bring these two communities together. We've created something called the Pexitics optimization program for data sciences, where we say that if the constraint of manpower is the reason why certain projects aren't getting executed, or the expense of the manpower is the reason why certain projects aren't getting executed, then we can work with these organizations to engage with interns, who have finished their education in data science, but are looking at real life projects to take this forward. Okay. That I think is a great takeaway, that we would, as Pexitics, want to be at the cusp of these two communities, where we can definitely engage with one community, the corporates, to bring to them a mentor talent, and we can engage with the students who have finished data science courses, or data science enthusiasts who have finished data science courses, to reach the corporates with a mentor, so that they can be assured of a certain guidance as they go forward. So I think we would like to say, I would request the jury to rate the projects, and if you could just send it in the WhatsApp group, that'll be nice, and then we could open up for the panel discussion. Post the panel discussion, I will tabulate the results. By that time we could have a ranking of which project was how was it ranked by each of you, and on an overall basis. With this, I request Abhishek, Ashwini, and Dr. Ramesh to please unmute yourselves, and should we do a small panel discussion on the state of data science talent in India?
Yes, so you want to do us ranking after this, or how do you want to?
If you can just WhatsApp it in the group, Abhishek, in the time that the discussion is happening, I could just tabulate it, I was thinking.
Okay, sure.
Yes.
Sure. Thank
Thank you so much, Raghuveer and Karandeep and Amol and Anushka. It's been a pleasure mentoring you during this time, and to see your growth, as students with concepts around statistics, around your softwares, and also seeing perhaps in a certain sense the disillusionment and the slowly the movement away from a software centric approach to actually an approach which is more understanding a business problem and understanding what will help you solve it. So I can tell you, I've seen these interns struggle with the softwares and then conclude that, sometimes certain things were better seen in something as simple as an Excel outcome, or even a Tableau storyboard could be better told or could reach a larger audience if they were to put it into a PowerPoint. So I feel immense pleasure, immense pride to see that each of you has evolved. Each of you is walking away from this internship, taking with you hopefully the goodwill and endorsements of people of this community. And I do look forward. So just to tell you all, we have started off with the paid internships which certain companies are engaging with us for, and we would be happy to work with other companies also. So we would be releasing a new set of data science internship projects which you could apply for early December. And if there are people in the audience who may want to apply for it, please feel free to engage with us. In the interim, let us, I can see that the results have come in on the group, and I would request the jury to start off with the, okay. So we would like to start off with the panel discussion. Perhaps Dr. Ramesh Babu will join in a bit, but till that time, Ashwini and Abhishek, perhaps each one of you may want to address the audience on the state of data science in India. What is it that you are seeing? As I've mentioned earlier, we started this whole project concept thinking about the HBR article, which clearly stated that data science job roles are growing. Businesses are trying to internalize it, and emphasis on digitization is leading to a deeper penetration of data science and analytics in the business world. So I'll now go on mute and request the panel to take up this.
So, Ashwini, you want to start? Maybe from HR, I think that's a better perspective to come from.
Sure, Abhishek. Subhashini, I would really appreciate that you have taken a step ahead and you are building the capability of your young talents in the stream of data science. And good thing is that when we see these interns and these young people looking into data and coming up with the different ideas, it gives us a lot of insights also, and a lot of way ahead in terms of, yes, there is a competent talent in the market, and we can hire them. From my perspective, this is a good step from your side, but from the organization perspective, I think the organizations also has to look into that data-driven culture point of view. Many organizations, I have worked for Reliance, I have worked for Tata, I have worked for Mahindra Finance, and now I'm working with the IFL Group. So we have seen that seniors at CXO level, we talk about data. We want data. We want data-based decision making, evidence-based decision making. But actually, there is a huge gap when we look into the data-driven culture, data-driven infrastructure per se, the data warehouse per se. Companies are right now have to build up their capability also. But directly, as a HR person, we get a job description that I want a data science people. And then we discuss at a top level that see, you want data science people, But are you only limited to Excel or visualization, or are you really looking into kind of a building a data warehouse when we are generating huge data from the business and from the human resource and other aspects? So we all in the management also, we need to look into that kind of infrastructure first, data warehouse infrastructure, where to go for Apache Spark, or whether to go with a Hadoop or XYZ in the latest in the market, or whether Excel sheet will solve my purpose. So we have to look into that. And then only as a, and then second thing is the culture. We have to look into culture also, that how top people are talking in terms of data and taking a data and evidence based kind of a decision making. Because when we at the top, when we seniors at the top, when we feel that no, this is my, based on my experience, we should do it like this, or this is my gut feeling, but most of the time we don't look into data. And I mean, I'm talking in general, that yes, people from even business team, with people from even in support functions, enabling functions, very few people are there in the corporates also, who take data based decisions. I mean, who take data into account before deciding something. So if that comes from top, and also the top people understands, yes, what infrastructure and culture I have to build for the talent to drive database data driven culture. So that will really help, I mean, the corporates also, the young talents also, and India at large in the long run. So that is my perspective from, and I think Pexitics has taken a good step forward in terms of building the capability of young talent. So over to Ramesh and Abhishek.
Please go ahead, Abhishek. That I'll come.
Okay. Okay. So the state of data science in India, I mean, that's a huge topic, right? I mean, we can talk for hours. Uh, I think so it's obviously like everything else in business, it's on a spectrum, right? So you have companies who are now at an advanced stage where they are using things like deep learning, looking at computer vision, and so that is a very specialized field, which I think going forward will be more dominated by people with say PhD in computer science, or people who are who have a thorough academic background, right? So and that is more on the research side, and by the time it commercializes, it will take some time, but industry is trying a lot, right? So as Dr. Ramesh Babu is there in Wells Fargo, lot of large organizations now have a specialized team dedicated to advanced analytics, where they have PhDs and people with vast experience in this newer technologies that have come out from computer science field, right? Like deep learning has come from computer science, computer vision, text mining, or NLP. So that is one area where growth will happen, but this will not be like IT of 90s, which generated jobs for millions of people, right? So for the jobs that data science will generate for millions of our youngsters would be what I think Mr. Ashwini also mentioned is basic data science, right? Or let's not call it data science. Let's call it business analytics, right? Where you understand the business and you try to give solutions to the business which are relevant for them, right? It could be simple segmentation. It could be a simple regression model or a predictive model, but which solves actual business problems. So that is where, but that the challenge that in industry we find is that when you hire talent, right, the dominant skills don't come with the talent, right? So dominant skills is something that you need to impart, and the challenge is how much are organizations willing to invest in mentor and make sure that people understand business well, right? One thing that I think surely will happen more and more is that you will find a lot of people from business moving to data science field and data scientists moving to business side. That is already happening, right? So people from in data science in HBC have moved to risk teams. They even to move to product function, right? So because everybody understands that you have rather have a product manager who understand data better than who doesn't, right? So that sort of thing will definitely happen. But the key challenge that we are facing is not about the technical skills, right? I mean, you can teach technical skills in these courses like you're doing, Subhashni. There are a lot of now data science master's program that have come up. So, it's no longer a challenge of democratization of data science, right? Or the technical aspect. It is more about how business ready these folks that are coming out are, and the challenge there is, Subhashini, and I think that's why your initiative is so great. That if you can, and the other thing is that, at initial level of your career, you don't need to choose whether you want to be a specialist in banking domain or retail domain or CPG, but just understanding business as, as a, as how business runs, right? Just understand what are the P&L drivers. Whether my work is letting any impact in either revenue increase or cost decrease. So those, basic skill sets which MBA learns, but we can't have BS in data science because they don't have technical skills. So that's the challenge. So like I'm an MBA, but I had to learn data science from the scratch, right? Subhashti, I started, I learned SAS, and then I kind of moved up, right? So but that is where the organizations willing to invest time and money on me, but that might not be the case everywhere, right? So I think this is a challenge where we need to focus on. But definitely it's a great opportunity for India. I think the way we kind of capitalize on the IT revolution, this is the next big thing, right? And I think it can absorb a lot of young folks. It can create a lot of employment opportunities. So I'm very excited about it. But I think we need to solve this last mile problem, where business can get people who are ready to contribute from the from the beginning. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think that's very true. I think India, we are very fortunate that all our children are told to do maths at least till class 10. At least, till very recently, the new education policy may ensure the kids can opt out at class 8. But just a familiarity with maths itself, I think, is a big plus point for us. So, Dr. Ramesh, we would be happy to hear
Yeah,
from you.
yeah. Thank you to my co-panelists, both Ashwini and Abhishek. Ashwini talked about data-driven organization, and Abhishek talked about from business analytics to advanced analytics and deep learning, uh, and also Subhashini, the kind of work that you have taken up as a mentor and an evangelist. I must say, interns must be happy uh, and must thank you for the kind of inputs that you have given, because um, in this kind of a situation that we as data science professionals are, there is a lot of content available, but hand holding them and navigating them, and also creating a charter for the interns is what can make it exciting. And if today I saw your cartoon, the middle one, no one was raising. And I think the reason primarily is because they were not introduced properly to the maths. If they were introduced properly to maths, it's a fascinating thing. And I see this journey as those who get introduced data science very rightly, however difficult it is, if not now, they'll pick it up later. I think that's the first point I would like to make. The second is, especially my points will be more towards the interns to keep a note and see what next. So, guys, I see all of your presentations, data handling, looking at the right kind of data sources, the DCOVA process that you have adopted, you are very good at it. And I think this is only possible because a mentor like Subhashini has introduced these to you. There can be variations, but I think this is the first step. And the hypothesis definition is actually half the solution of what you have attempted. Having said that, please remember this is also a very niche area and also a sweet spot in terms of what you have started the journey, because it doesn't matter which domain you are, you can apply this, whether in BFSI, banking, financial sector, insurance, whether it is manufacturing, or whether it is HR. So first get that comfort that this journey that you have started uh, is not that you are hooked to some particular domain, but you have an opportunity to apply across. And one thing that I have seen is all of you have started small, but learn fast and learn fast. And those are the things that we are trying to share with you. So, for example, I now want to bring in this context of bank like ours. We are a 168-year-old bank. I hope you heard it right. There are 65 million customers. We are sitting on a gold mine of data. And if we can't make a difference with this data, no one else can. I mean, how can an outsider say what we can do? And today, what we are doing and what we are organized is we are a horizontal working for all the products in the bank. And this work is done seamlessly between some team members in the US and some team members in India. We don't differentiate. You know, there are data scientists there are data scientists there. There are data engineers over there are data engineers over there. There are data visualization specialists there are data visualization specialists here. So what kind of problems are we solving? I think some of the things that you have picked up gives a sense to me that you are very close to, or at least aspiring to be in touch with reality. So let me share a few examples. We are looking at now today when people swipe the card, can they get that fraud alert immediately? Today we are looking at people who have these cards, can they get a low debit or a low balance alert? These are the kind of models that I'm talking about, and I'm talking about hundreds of models. What you have built is a step towards that. And interestingly, the solutions that you have built are point-based solutions. The moment you join an organization, these solutions that you are looking at will have to be deployed, will have to be monitored, will have to be refreshed in order to make business sense. And that is where, if you stretch your black box, there is a part in the beginning. Who decided this problem? Why was this problem decided? What is that it will add business value? Is there something that is adding to the top line? Is there something that is adding to the bottom line? That is the, box. That is the part which you can think of to your box that you have so far done. And there is a box, or there is a part component towards the end of your box, which is after you have done. It's not like, you got the data, you have done something, you put it over the wall, and somebody is going to make use of it. This is going to be like your dashboard. When you are driving, it shows you what it is. And when you are using these models, it tells you whether it is deviating, not deviating, whether it is to be refreshed, and so on. So essentially, I'm saying that there is much more you people have scope as interns to learn beyond model development now, which I think you have got a good hang of it. Having said that, and that's where there are more skills to be looked at, the deployment skills, and the monitoring skills, and so on. My last point is, please be aware that I saw this one of the project which talked about the SALIS. It's good to know that there are some trends in that and so on, but that is for a short time. I mean, so was the case with IT, and now it is also the case with and when I say now, it is in the last 3 years, people are willing to pay a premium because of the kind of skills these data engineers, data scientists bring in. But no longer in the coming next few years. And I'm saying so because with a lot of caution. And that means that, let's say today, if I need, and by the way, we build hundreds of models and we have hundreds of data scientists. And in this COVID year, we have hired a large 2-digit number. All this only shows that, there is more of adoption of these models and model development. And having said that, it is not going to scale like an IT industry. Let's be clear. There are no, 2,000 people joining in a data science team, or 10,000 people joining in a data science, maybe hundreds, yes. So how is this going to be handled? So these data scientists are indispensable, no doubt. Having said that, there is going to be a platform, and instead of I needing 50 data scientists, I will have 5-10 data scientists with a platform. And please be aware that these platforms are not taking away your job. In fact, they will make your job much tougher, where you have to be telling whether each stage that these platforms help you automate things right? You got the data, you're doing that outlier cleaning. Platform will help you do that. All that you need to do is put a stamp saying, I think I agree with what this has been, this stage automation has been done. So you will have, instead of 50 data scientists, you will have this platform and maybe 5 data scientists. See, from 50 to 5. This platform has helped you, and there are platforms, and just to name a few, I have no connections with them. So you have Databricks, you have H2O, you have Domino, and each individual organizations are building something proprietary, making use of both open source and proprietary systems to address this at scale, to address this at speed, and to address this at consistency, right? Uh, and this is the thought I want to leave you, saying that while there are going to be platforms and while there will be data scientists, it is not one against each other. Uh, you you will be required, in addition to what is going on in the world in terms of automating this whole process, scaling this process, and that is where the data scientists will also play a role in terms of bringing what the platform cannot bring. And what are those? Compassion, emotion, the business leaders can bring in for the data scientists, and they just have to plug in all this when they're actually working. And I liked some of the things Abhishek talked about when one of the projects was using the Sensex data. COVID vaccine news is a more positive indicator. Some of the industry results are more positive indicators, and if you look at those to compare uh, with the with the kind of other data, you will see much more insightful agenda for taking forward. Yeah, so thank you and all the best, interns. I'm sure you will definitely do much better going forward with this kind of foundation that is laid. And thank you, Subhashini.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh. Thank you, Ashwini and Abhishek. It's been really nice to hear you all. Dr. Ramesh, as you were pointing out, today model monitoring and model governance, even Python has a package, and being able to scalably use your older models to create, upgrade your models has become very much the norm. And in fact, I do believe that data science, somewhere we try to, like you said, we try to make it very, very uniform, thinking it's scalable, everyone can learn exactly the same, but it does require a certain energy of your thoughts to be able to think of multiple options and sources of data, things that could be relevant. Yes, it is also, I think, Dr. Ramesh, you're a vision leader, you can see much longer down the line. So as a career choice, it is an innovative career choice. I think salaries will increase because people are now not hiring you only for your pedigree. In many cases, they also hire you for your skills. So there is an evaluation of skills, problem solving skills, which has become quite the norm as people look at you for further jobs. With this, I would like to take the opportunity to
Subhashini,
showcase
I
the.
just like
Excuse
Subhashini,
me?
so I just want to highlight, one point
Yes.
which is becoming more and more critical for data science, and as these young guys will join in, will become very critical.
Hmm.
As Dr. Ramesh mentioned, so two broad trends: definitely platformization and sort of automation of models, right? So productionizing of models at is.
Abhishek, will you put on your video?
Yeah, sure.
Huh.
Yeah, sure. So the other thing, which at least in HPC we are seeing, which is very sort of high on the agenda for senior management, because there's so much focus on how you use data, is going to be data regulations and ethics in data, right?
Yes.
So make sure that your models are unbiased, and your endless bias doesn't come in the models, right? Whether when you are, especially when you are building risk models which underwrite and which kind of gives you, say, lines of approval and things like that. uh, so I think regulator will become, they will also become much more savvy. For example, the US regulator Fed is much more savvy than compared to RBI right now. But I'm sure RBI will also get people with the right skill sets. I'm sure there'll be a time in India when, at least for banking, the models have to be taken to regulator and get approved from regulators, right?
Yes.
And the other thing is the ethics and the biasness. I think that's a big concern area for a lot of people. And especially as AI becomes more sort of automated, and so machines start building models, these two things will become very, very critical. So I think right now maybe this is a little way off, but I don't think it's so way off also, right? Maybe in a couple of years we'll start seeing these things coming in as a large trend.
Absolutely. Data governance has now become such a common job role when it comes to tech systems, and data pathways and organizations are being monitored so very closely. I think what you're saying is absolutely true. I would like
And
to now.
Subhashini, I have one point to add
Yes.
to Ramesh and Abhishek also, what they are talking about. That what Abhishek is talking about, that unbiased approach for data modeling or any
Yes.
kind of model, or this is very much required. Otherwise, in any financial institutions or the top management may end up making a wrong decision, or even if you're taking a marketing decisions and having a lot of marketing things through these models, or also taking some product portfolio management things, modeling those things and taking decisions on that, that may go haywire. That actually will really the ethics and governance and also unbiasedness in managing data. That is important. And second thing is a message to all our interns and whoever are willing to have a career in data science. I think opportunity is there. Right now, very few companies have understood that data driven culture is important. Few companies have understood, and large institutions, large companies, they have built the data warehouse and the data models in hundreds of numbers. But what I understand is now small companies also are looking into it, and of course they will generate huge jobs, number of jobs, because they know the importance of data. And when I mean, young people, young talent look into not only just handling a data, or managing data, or looking into different deriving different models and outcomes, but when we look into a real-time business problem solving, that this is the business problem, or this is the problem of a life challenge or something, anything. When we get into real-time business problem solving, then that particular analysis or model, I think, will be more relevant at that point of time. So our interns and I think young talent should look into that. But whether my explanation, my sources, what I have taken, and also my explanations, and also usage of the models and outcome, is it helping a business to decide on something? That will really take them. I think at I mean, they will reach heights, no doubt.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think Ashwini is doing what people managers do best, which is telling us that self-reflection is very important. I too feel that, in data science, it's I mean, you yourself can figure out if you've done a good job or not. You really, it's perhaps a slightly disillusioning, devoid of romance field. You can't even stay in the illusion you're doing a good job if your data, if your model is not giving any ROI benefit and so on and so forth. Yes, it is. It's been a very interesting session. We have the results out, which Ruben will just display. All of you, all the interns, you've done very, very well. And I do look forward to engage more with you and the industry to form this conduit. So just as an aside, I'm trying, rather, I think, what we would want to be is something like a finishing school. If you've done your data science course, you got to do your practical training, and then you're ready for deployment. So maybe that's the space, but COVID has been a huge experience of new discoveries for us also as a company. So I think he's going to just share the screen. Okay, so Karandeep has tabulated, the tabulations show that Karandeep, you have got the best ranking. Congratulations. Followed by Raghuveer, and there's just such a minor difference between what Raghuveer and Karandeep you've got. Followed by Amol and Anushka. Very well done. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Ramesh, Abhishek, and Ashwini. It's been a pleasure interacting with you and hearing your views. And I do next set of projects that we will be showcasing will be more around sales. I will keep you informed. One is a market research on financial literacy and financial product penetration. There is some project on sales. Ashwini, from your area, a telecalling setup in financial services and being able to increase ROI while maintaining your staff strength, and a couple of such projects. So I think I look forward to meeting you all really very soon for our next sessions. With this, we'll take a small break and yeah, Karan, you want to say something?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for all the useful feedback. I would especially like to thank you, ma'am, for spending the time with us and guiding us towards practices and how to bring just skill set and knowledge into actual tangible work that we could display. I would also like to congratulate all of my fellow interns for the amazing work they have done. And I would especially like to thank all the chief guests and jury today for their feedback and sharing their experiences and the outlook towards the sector today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Raghuveer, anybody else wants to share some thoughts? We are here. And Raghuveer, you will take over for the detailed presentation. So I will request the jury members, if you have time, to join us. Otherwise, perhaps you could drop out
I
of
will.
the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Subhashini, I also have to drop off, so have some other
Yeah.
engagement.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Dimple.
you.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you
I
so much,
will.
Raghuveer. I wish all the bright career to all interns and young talent.
Ashwin, this is Raghuveer here. I just want to say a few things. You you have rightly mentioned that most of the companies are not making decisions based upon the data driven. I think it is still in the initial stages in India. So definitely we wanted to see, and definitely we wanted to see much more things happening in India as well, wherein the data decisions, especially the people decisions, will be done through data. So thank you. Thanks for your insights. Thank you.
It will come. It will evolve, because see, it starts from leadership team. When they start thinking that data makes sense and data driven decision making can be more accurate, when they appreciate this particular thing, then of course they'll start hiring data scientists. They'll start looking into data. As of now, if you meet any person, a very big company, old company, and when you meet a head of the person, at the CXO level, they'll say, based on my experience and gut feeling, I take decisions.
True,
Yes.
true. That is still happening. Yes.
Yeah, so I think huge job numbers will be generated in coming and then in near future also, because people need to take decisions based on data. And this COVID pandemic, I think, has taught everyone, uh, corporates also, big lessons. So I think now they will more focus on data rather than just taking risks based on gut feeling.
Correct.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
In fact, I can tell you that despite all my claims to data science, when in December we started getting the initial, news from China, I would not be, I had never thought it would be so bad in India.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we have a way to negate, the data and think, no, it can't be so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you, Ron. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
think thank you, Abhishek and Ramesh also. I think a good expert discussion we had, and look forward for further more discussions. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Ashwini. Raghuveer, would you want to do a detailed presentation?
Sure, madam. Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
I think your visualization, understanding, and this, I think, would benefit a lot of data science people who
Sure.
have to understand the market. So like was rightly pointed out that there is a market. If you're trying to, what I feel would be the biggest takeaway is this: that see, if you're trying to create a career in data science, Bangalore may be just too saturated with talent. It might be a good call to be open to movements to certain other cities, So let's see what Raghuveer has to offer and understand it more closely. Over to you, Raghuveer.
Sure, madam. I'll just take. Okay, let me share my screen first. Yeah, so hope everyone can see my screen.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, just a minute, madam. Can you see it now?
No, I think we should start.
Yeah, just
I
a
can't
minute.
see it yet.
Yeah, just a minute.
That was my biggest takeaway, that I mean, my advice to the students would be this.
Yes, madam. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Great. So, yeah, again, I think, I'll not talk much about, the problem statement and everything, because I don't want to, repeat the same again and again. So I'll just go through, I'll just take you through the visualization part of it in a detailed way. I'll not talk about how I have collected the data and everything. So yeah, so definitely, if you look at the average salaries, the Bangalore, we have spoken about a lot, that, this is the location where everyone wanted to come, and, where the talent pool is also available. At the same time, the most number of jobs also have been posted in Bangalore. Not only that, there is certain group in, the location wise, there is certain group called overseas who wanted to come back to Bangalore, or, some of the cities in India as well. So they were, there has been a lot of outliers in terms of the salaries, because, definitely you cannot compare the salaries of overseas within India. So that is also we have seen. As you can see, the overseas salaries are much more when you compare it with any other salaries in India. So that is one thing. Definitely, as you can see, the tier 2 and the tier 1 cities, how the jobs and the talent pool available. And if you look at it, specifically, then there is a gap in terms of the jobs posted and the talent pool. As you can see, I'll just touch upon some of the cities like Hyderabad, Chennai, and see in if you look at the cities like Trivandrum, the jobs are available. At the same time, the talent is not at all available. So maybe, these are some of the cities which you want to concentrate, where the jobs are available more. Same thing with some of the tier 2 cities as well. Like, as you can see, the Delhi, you have 8.3 jobs posted, wherein less number of talent pool is available, only 0.3 is available. So maybe, we can consider these are some of the locations where the jobs are more. And definitely, the Bangalore has been the largest talent pool available in India. So 37% of the talent pool available, if you look at any other locations in India. And at the same time, the jobs also are more when you compare with any other cities. Yeah, but anyway, there is one more point I would like to make here. The metro cities have got 31% of the jobs posted. I mean, combining Mumbai, Chennai, and Delhi. So definitely we can look at these cities also, apart from the other cities, apart from Bangalore. Yeah, the IT has been the most, in terms of jobs and the talent also available. But when you look at others, I have put it as others, but when you say others, there are a lot many industries. When you compare it, like, we have certain industries like media, we have certain industries like, uh, the marketing companies also were there, and so on and so forth. But, the third one, if you look at the analytic solutions, is the third, industry segment where we see a lot of jobs and the talent also present in the market. So that is also one thing to look at it, and the education sector also. So when you look at education sector, the IITs have posted most number of jobs, and at the same time the talent also available. I mean, when I say IITs have posted, when you look at the salaries, in terms of salaries, their willingness to pay is more when you compare with any other institutes. And definitely, the where are the jobs? The banking giants like Wells Fargo. I think we have a panel member from Wells Fargo also. I think these companies have got more number of jobs in the market, and definitely the IT giants that are the big four IT consulting companies like Accenture and IBM has got the more number of jobs in the market. And definitely, as I clearly mentioned, the educational institutions like IITs also has got the more number of jobs. At the same time, they're also willing to pay more in terms of the salaries.
Here, I'll just interrupt you, Raghuveer.
Sure,
So
madam.
I think most of the takeaway should be around this point that, if we can focus on certain segments,
Mm-hmm.
right, as we look for jobs or
Mm-hmm.
as we prepare for jobs, it might be more beneficial rather than being very open-ended.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you come again? I'm very sorry.
It would make sense
Mm-hmm.
to focus on certain segments like banking, audit. So,
Okay.
like, see, Dr. Ramesh, everyone said, right? Everyone needs to
True.
understand the business problem. So,
True.
which
True. True.
business problem are you ready to understand? Today it's a
Mm-hmm.
decision you should take, I think.
True. True. Yeah, definitely, madam. I completely agree with you on that. So yeah, I think if you look at from the IT industry point of view, definitely IT. Most of the IT are IT has got the talent pool. At the same time, the jobs as well. When I say IT, there are small companies are also there where they want to hire a few data scientists or the data analytics people. So if you include that chunk also, then definitely it will give I believe 40% of the jobs posted are from the IT itself, and then you have analytics and other industries. So then there itself, you can make if you look at IT companies and analytics solutions companies, and the main chunk of jobs posted and the talent pool lies around these two industries only, is what I feel. Yeah, and some of the as you can see, some of the employees who has been looking out for the jobs, as you can see, the TCS, CTS, Accenture, and then the banking sector as well, and the top audit firms are also looking out for the talent. At the same time, the talent also available in these markets, and some of the telecom products also. And as I clearly mentioned that IT industries are the has got the largest chunk of the jobs posted and the resources available in the market. And I think the panel also spoken about some of the competencies are the skills. I think we would have done a little bit of study on the skills as well. How I think Ashwin has spoken about which segment is looking out the kind of skills. Suppose this segment is looking out for visualization and little bit of data analytics kind of skills, and this segment is looking out for the more complex skills like AI, ML, or the deep learning or the machine learning kind of things. So I think that study has not been done. Definitely, I think with the data availability, we can talk about, or we can look at that also. Madam, you want
Correct.
to talk?
But when
Yeah.
we are looking and evaluating our knowledge,
Hmm.
again, we should be very clear that these are the parts which we will come for our delivery, the basic parts. So if we believe that we are going to work every day on some new concept and some new thing, we may just want to give pause and understand that all that you went through here, which was the painful process of understanding the data, gathering the data, that may form quite a large part of what you do.
Yeah, definitely. I got your point. Yeah. So yeah, definitely that is one thing. Yes, we should talk about it. Yeah, and the I think the panel also has spoken about. I believe it's Abhijit has spoken about the technical and functional skills. And if you look at it, the most number of skills has been covered by the technical, because most of them are available in the, I mean, of course, the most number of people are available in the data analytics area, where the statistical few statistical techniques are required with a little bit of visualization, and somebody who can talk about the central tendency of the data. So the most of the people are available in this segment only. But if you look at it from the real if you look at the technical skills, most of them are available in the data mining part, and then later on machine learning and the Python also. So I think that is where most of the chunk is available when it comes to the technical skills.
Data management part, not mining, data management part.
Yeah, data management. Sorry, yeah, data
Yes.
management part. Yes. Yeah, and definitely the data analytics is the most available skill among the functional skills. As I clearly mentioned that somebody who has the basic understanding of the data alignment and the descriptive statistics, and then visualization tools like Tableau and Power BI are the most popular tools among the visualization tools. And we have, I have observed that most of companies are looking out the Google Analytics also, the marketing analytics also, and the AdWords also are being used. Of course, it's a mix of SEO and SEM also. The search engine optimization kind of skills, and it's a mix of analytics, and then the a little bit of digital marketing also is what I've seen in the marketing analytics area. So this is one thing I just want to highlight. And definitely the technical skills also I have highlighted: ETL, data collection tools, machine learning, Python, and data science is being the required skill among the most of the technical skills. And of course these skills are also mostly in demand if you look at from the demand point of view from the employers. And when we talk about the compensation part, we have already spoken about that. And 2 to 6 and 0 to 2 and 2 to 5 years of experienced people are comparatively you know when I say comparatively, these guys are there is a bit misalignment between the jobs posted, and I think they have to reach to a certain extent when it comes to the salaries and all. So that is not there in this segment, wherein the 11 to 15 years and 16 to 20 years of experienced guys are almost there when you look at the average salaries of the jobs posted and the talent pool available, except in 16-20 years of experience, because this 16 to 20 years of experience, you have a huge difference of 70 lakhs and 35, because we are not able to get more number of data points when it comes to the 16 to 20 years of experience of jobs posted. That is how it is. But otherwise, when you look at the talent pool, there has been a lot of people who are making more than 70, and there has been a lot of outliers also in the segment, which we have to remove ultimately. So that is one thing I just want to highlight. And if you look at the right hand side, the per industry average compensation is there. If you look at it, the pharma industry and banking industry seems to be the lucrative one when it comes to the compensation point of view from the industry perspective. And if you look at the locations, I think location, there is not much difference when you compare it with the years of experience. So most of the locations are paying almost equal, except overseas and Bangalore, we have seen a little bit of a difference. Otherwise, there is no much difference in terms of the salaries are being paid. So I think it is also the same which we have highlighted here. So industry, what industry is paying, and so on and so forth. And of course, we have done some comparison also when it comes to the years of experience, how the jobs and talent has been how the linear growth in terms of jobs and talent. Definitely there is a misalignment between the jobs posted and the talent also there. So definitely we wanted to see the talent coming almost closer to the jobs posted. I think Mr. Ramesh Babu also rightly pointed out that definitely the salaries are going to increase further in the future. So definitely we want to see that kind of a thing here. And this is the comparison of the locations from the min, max, and median point of view from the locations point of view. And as I clearly mentioned in my previous previous part also, that we have not seen much differences in terms of salaries, except as you can see, there is a max salary in other cities, and overseas, as you can see, 95 some of the data scientists are making more salaries than any other cities. As you can see, in Bangalore also there is about 90. So these are the two segments where we have seen a lot of salary growth in terms of for the data scientists. So that is one thing. I think it is the same also what we have spoken about. And of course, 11 to 15 years and 16 to 20 years of experience, salaries, there is not much difference between the jobs posted and the talent pool, wherein we have seen a lot of difference in terms of 0 to 2 years, and then 6 to 10 years of experience group is what we have seen. And yeah, so this is what it is when it comes to the the salaries part. Yeah, so the takeaway for the young professionals, definitely, the somebody who wanted to move to Bangalore, definitely they'll have more number of opportunities. Definitely, who are willing to move to Bangalore would be a fruitful thing if you want to move to Bangalore. And some of the skills, which most of the employers are looking out is analytics, statistics, and the data extraction, the data management part, and descriptive, the descriptive statistics and visualization part. But if you want to be in a higher range in terms of salaries, definitely one should look at AI, ML, deep learning, and NLP as well, neuro linguistic programming as well. And the text analytics as well is one of the areas which are being paid more when you compare with any other skills in the industry. And we have also seen the industry wise, the pharma, banking, media are the best paymasters. Maybe they wanted to hire a good chunk of the talented people in the market. So these are the I think pharma has been doing a lot of data analytics for some time. Maybe banking and banking and media are trying to attract more people at this point in time. And IT analytics and service companies are the largest job market for sure. Definitely, I think it has been highlighted also, which I've already spoken about, in my previous session as well. I mean, the previous part as well. So definitely the takeaways would be the a realignment of salary advertised to actual salary in the market will get you better success at securing talent. If you're looking, this is from the employer's point of view. And definitely, Bangalore is one of the location to look out for anyone who is looking out for opportunities. And definitely the tier the other cities like Mumbai also, Mumbai and Delhi, we have seen the problem in Mumbai and Delhi is we have more number of jobs. At the same time, the talent pool is a bit less, so probably we can look out those locations also in terms of the job market for the data science people. So this is the end of the visualization part. Probably I'll take you to the DICOA and I part, wherein I have run some the descriptive statistics and the where clearly we can see a lot of misalignment between the jobs posted and the talent pool availability. So clearly it has been mentioned that we can see the linear growth in terms of jobs posted, wherein it is not the same in terms of the employees or the talent pool which is available in the market. And I have also run the correlation between the jobs and sorry, let me go to that slide. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have run a correlation also between the salaries and the some of the variables, and we have seen that 0 to 2 years and 2 years of experienced people has got negative correlation with the salary, wherein it is not the same. I mean, wherein the 11 to 15 years and 16 to 20 years of experienced people have got positive correlation in terms of salary. When you say positive correlation, as the experience is growing at the same time, in the same pace, the salary is also growing in the same pace. So that is what we have seen, and the higher paying industries absorb experienced talent at higher cost. Definitely, we have spoken about that. The pharma and the banking sector and the media also, talking about are trying to absorb the experienced talent at the higher cost. And definitely, the Bangalore is one of the location which we have spoken about, and some industries, okay, the banking, health, and pharma. Of course, overseas market is also one thing which is trying to pay more, and the overseas market, they are trying to come back to India as well. So that is how the overseas pay market is more. And I have run some linear regression also. If you look at the regression, definitely the point says the same. And not only that, if with the the if you look at the combined data, which is just 0.60, with the r square 0.60, it is not it is not enough, or it is not justified to plot the predicted the salaries or the predicted equation for that. So that's why we are not able to predict exactly how the data, how the salaries will look like with the current variables. If you look at the jobs data, otherwise the r square is 9.96, where we have very good linear way of salaries have been put across, where there is a linear growth in terms of salaries, which is not there in the talent pool data. So these are the main takeaways, and the insights. We have already spoken about the insights as well. The employers are willing to offer salaries as per the experience, and of course, definitely there is a misalignment between the employer's willingness and the talent current salary, and we are expecting that to be aligned in the future. Definitely, I think Mr. Ramesh Babu has spoken about that, so definitely we want to see that in the future. And of course, we have spoken about higher prevailing salaries in Bangalore, ensuring that the talent might move towards Bangalore, and so on and so forth. And some of the metro cities also we have seen the same, and tier 2 cities also, like Trivandrum, Jaipur also, we have seen the same pattern. Yeah, so definitely we can see a growth of education around data science and analytics in these cities to cater to the unfulfilled demand. Definitely the Pexitics is one of the solution for this, because who wanted to somebody, they might have done the online program, but if you want to do the real-time projects and all, definitely the Pexitics would be the right choice, I would say. If you want to experience the real-time the data, and how the entire methodology will work, and so on and so forth, and to understand the real time business problems as well. So that is what, my experience has been really great, and some of my learnings have been yeah, of course, definitely, if you like this project, please endorse me, and please like or comment about the project. And if you wanted to join the Pexitics community, and if you want to learn real-time data science, definitely this would be the one of the options. I would say this would be the one of the best options, I can say. So yeah, so and I want to thank Subhashini madam for that, for all the time she has given, and definitely I think I have had a very good learning experience. From the learnings, if you want to be specific, definitely the visualization part I have learned, because entire my visualization has been done in Excel only, and of course I have to try different things in Excel also. That really I think this will be really useful for me in the future. And not only that, but the my 50 to 60% of my efforts has been in organizing the data and the cleaning up the data. So that also really that is also a good learning, I would say. And removing the outliers part, wherein we have done by dividing the experience with the salaries, and then we have converted that into G score, and then we have removed that removed that when in normalization, if something is +3 and -3, we have to remove that. So that is also a good learning actually for me. And overall the analytics part also, how do you do the correlation and the regression part also, which I've done it theoretically, but I'm not able to implement it practically. So that also really made me learn new things. The practical things is what I see. So that's what. Thank you very much, madam. So I would really appreciate your time on that.
Thank you, Raghuveer. I think you've done a very good job.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that from my side, I have seen all of you, really make strides in one is the understanding of the data and how to align the data to the outcome. And the second, I have seen you all, having to realign your thought process on how to present the outcome. So I think that also has been, as per me, that has been also how to storyboard it so that it is telling a story, it is concluding something. So whatever you all have studied, the statistics, the coding, you have actually taken things through. So that is really, really nice. It's been a lovely presentation from all of you, all the participants. It's been a very nice presentation.
Shall I stop sharing my screen, madam?
Yes, you
Yeah,
stop
thank you.
sharing your screen.
Thank
I
you.
suggest all of you put on your videos. Let's all have a small Amol, Raghuveer,
Yes, madam.
Karandeep. Yeah, I think you did a very good job. Okay, it's been amazing to see your maturity. Like a jigsaw puzzle. You all used to know different parts of the puzzle. You knew some amount of this, some amount of that, but you have actually brought all of that together to create the presentation to finish your projects. I think that has been like it's been really nice. I will applaud all of you for it. And what I will do is that along with this, I was very keen that Raghuveer should present his findings, because I feel that that is something which all of us can benefit from. I do believe that, see, when we are moving out in the time of COVID, or if we are moving out with some slight, should I say, a back foot on our job front, let us focus on the easy fruits that we know exist in all the Hyderabad, the Pune, those locations, and even if it is not in proper Bangalore, let us keep our minds open for job opportunities. I think that is one of the reasons why I was very keen. Raghuveer should definitely explain his findings, understand that what is it that they ask you in interviews, because if these are the skills which they are putting out on Naukri, then your interviews are going to be around those topics. Data management, how will you the basic statistics, being able to, like Dr. Ramesh said, business analytics, how will you make an impact on business. Okay, so I have been very pleased with the way everything has worked out today. And I'm looking forward to interacting with you all as you go through your journeys of data science and life. Feel free to reach out to me at any point. Definitely, we will. Yesterday I have recorded your videos, and I will request you, please do post it as sample of your work on the this on the on your LinkedIn profiles. I will also wait for us to finish the white papers, okay? Because those we can put up on SlideShare along with your findings. And the more mediums we can take this out to, the better it is for us, right? Well, I hope you all had I mean, Karandeep, I'm really sorry, I've bothered you quite a bit. And I think Amol and Anushka and Raghuveer, all of you have borne up very well. And I do believe something very good is going to happen to all of us.
Madam, one quick question to you.
Yes.
Can we extend these projects also? Because, there has been some more insights out of these projects.
Yes.
Which really made me to think further. And definitely, I think it's going to be helpful because I think Mr. Ashwin has rightly pointed out that, see, suppose if you have certain competencies with certain experience, and which industry is looking out, for these kind of experience and these kind of skills. That is one thing. And the second thing would be, if you have certain competencies with certain experience, what would be your average salary in the market?
Yes, of course, you can definitely work on this.
Yeah, the specificities of it would really make, definitely, it will have an edge. I think, we are giving much more information than what it is required to the market is what I feel. So definitely, I think it's going to be helpful.
Your project is such that we can do it once every quarter.
That is true, actually.
Yes, right. So because there will be these constant changes, we can keep going back and looking at it, right?
True.
So feel free. You got a pretty good, like they were telling you the dashboard, right? Dr. Ramesh was saying the dashboard to track your analytics effort. See, what are you doing? You're creating something like this. You have got the first level. Now you're going to the second level. After quarter, you will validate if the values are remaining the same or not, right? So definitely we can work on these. And I will also keep you all posted about other projects that we are working on. In fact, if there are some paid projects, there is a possibility for a very short term, a small amount but paid project for a company, for their telecalling data based out of Calcutta. I will surely keep you all posted, because now we are on the same page, right, as to what is required. Also, Raghuveer, we put up that you remember we wanted to make that pre-assessed pool of data science people. So we are working on the assessment creation. I think by next week, even that is something we can send out to all the people who may want us to promote them. So what can happen is, if they take the assessment, and we can sort of tell them which type of jobs they may be, and we can connect them to companies, of different sectors.
Sure,
so, yeah, so definitely I see a lot of potential, and Raghuveer, definitely you can continue your project. So we will have a new thing to work on. The remaining of you, please, I will keep you informed. And I do believe that we should see some traction on whatever you have submitted. Karandeep, I'm happy you showed up the visualization, because that was a clincher. Yours had come out very well. And you had, all the work you had done around your data was able to come out very cleanly on that. So that was very nice. So with this, I'll take your leave, and I look forward to seeing you all at various points of time. Okay, but first, just put the link of your project as well as this in your LinkedIn, and I will just do the endorsements and stuff like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
you
so
all.
much for my time.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
Bye.